Good morning. I'm Remo, and North Korea just fired a ballistic missile toward the Sea of Japan, their first launch since May. This is the Daily Signal for October 22nd, 2025.
Unfiltered. Now,
Here are the other top stories for October 22nd, 2025. Donald Trump breaks silence on Putin's suddenly canceled Budapest summit, claims he doesn't want to waste time. Japan potentially makes history as Sanai Takaichi could become the nation's first female prime minister. The Louvre Museum faces lawmakers after reports of a massive $102 million jewelry heist. Israel takes dramatic steps to shut down international aid groups operating in Gaza and the West Bank. Former French President Sarkozy enters prison, declaring an innocent man is being locked up. Disturbing video surfaces showing Israeli settlers beating Palestinian farmers during olive harvest season. Israel receives 2 bodies that Hamas claims are dead hostages in latest prisoner exchange. Bolivia's socialist experiment faces mounting criticism as economic crisis deepens. Delhi residents wake up choking. Toxic pollution haze blankets India's capital after Diwali celebrations. Now let's dive into each story. Breaking overnight, North Korea launched a ballistic missile toward the Sea of Japan, confirmed by South Korea's military just hours ago. This marks Pyongyang's first missile test since May, shattering months of relative quiet on the Korean peninsula. The timing is critical. This launch comes as tensions escalate across multiple global flashpoints. South Korean defense officials are analyzing the missile's range and capabilities, while Japan issued immediate alerts to coastal regions. Why this matters to you? North Korean provocations typically signal broader geopolitical instability. Markets in Asia are already showing nervous responses, and this could complicate diplomatic efforts across the region. The missile landed in international waters with no reported casualties. But the message is clear. North Korea wants the world's attention. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is weighing in on Vladimir Putin's abruptly canceled Budapest summit. In a statement that's already going viral, Trump said he doesn't want to waste time on the shelved meeting. The Budapest summit was expected to be a critical diplomatic moment between Putin and Hungarian leadership. Its sudden cancellation has European officials scrambling to understand what changed behind closed doors. Trump's comments suggest he may have had advance knowledge of the cancellation, raising questions about his continued influence on international affairs even while out of office. Hungarian officials have remained tight-lipped about why the summit was postponed, citing only logistical concerns. Japan could be on the verge of making history. Reports suggest Sanai Takaichi may become the country's first female prime minister, a seismic shift for one of the world's most traditional political systems. Here's what you need to know about Takaichi. She's a conservative heavyweight known for her hawkish security views and close ties to the United States. Her potential rise comes at a crucial time as Japan faces pressure from China and ongoing regional tensions. 5 key facts. She served as Internal Affairs Minister, supports constitutional revision to allow Japan's military expansion, maintains strong relationships with Washington, has been criticized for historical revisionism, and would instantly become one of Asia's most powerful women. If confirmed, her appointment would send shockwaves through both Tokyo and Beijing. The Louvre Museum is in crisis mode. French lawmakers have summoned the museum director following reports of a staggering $102 million jewelry heist, potentially one of the largest art thefts in modern history. Details remain scarce, but the reported loss includes rare jewels that were likely part of a special exhibition. The Louvre houses some of the world's most valuable artworks, making any security breach a matter of international concern. Parliamentary hearings begin this week. French officials are demanding answers about how such a massive theft could occur at one of the world's most secure cultural institutions. The museum has temporarily closed certain wings while investigators work around the clock. Interpol has issued international alerts for the missing pieces. Israel is taking unprecedented steps to shut down international aid organizations operating in Gaza and the West Bank. This move could devastate humanitarian operations in regions already facing severe shortages. The Israeli government cites security concerns, but aid groups are calling this a deliberate attempt to limit international oversight. Organizations like Doctors Without Borders and the Red Cross could be forced to cease operations. The human impact is immediate. Gaza hospitals are already reporting critical supply shortages. The UN has condemned the move, calling it a violation of international humanitarian law. This decision comes as civilian casualties continue mounting and international pressure on Israel intensifies. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy has entered prison, declaring that an innocent man is being locked up. The dramatic scenes outside the detention facility have captivated French media. Sarkozy's imprisonment represents a stunning fall from grace for the man who once led France. His conviction on corruption charges has divided the French political establishment, with supporters calling it a political witch hunt. The 69-year-old former president maintains his innocence, and his legal team promises appeals. But tonight, one of France's most recognizable political figures is behind bars. His imprisonment sends a clear message about France's commitment to holding powerful figures accountable, regardless of their former status. Disturbing video has emerged showing Israeli settlers attacking Palestinian farmers during the critical olive harvest season. The footage, verified by multiple news organizations, shows systematic violence against agricultural workers. These attacks are devastating Palestinian livelihoods. The olive harvest represents months of family income for thousands of Palestinian farmers, and settler violence is making this essential work increasingly dangerous. Human rights groups document a pattern. Settler attacks spike during harvest season when Palestinians are most vulnerable in their fields. The Israeli police response has been criticized as inadequate. The video evidence is now part of international human rights documentation, adding to growing calls for accountability. In a somber development, Israel has received 2 bodies that Hamas claims are dead hostages. The exchange marks a rare moment of cooperation amid ongoing conflict, though the circumstances surrounding their deaths remain disputed. Israeli authorities are working to confirm the identities through forensic analysis. Families of missing hostages are enduring an agonizing wait for news about their loved ones. Hamas claims these individuals died in Israeli airstrikes, while Israeli officials dispute this account. The truth may never be fully known, but 2 more families are facing the worst possible news. This exchange could signal renewed behind-the-scenes negotiations for broader prisoner releases. Bolivia's socialist government faces mounting criticism as economic indicators suggest a deepening crisis. What was once hailed as a model of indigenous empowerment and resource nationalism is now struggling with basic governance. The numbers tell the story. Inflation is rising, the currency is weakening, and shortages of basic goods are becoming common. President Luis Arce's administration blames external pressure and climate change. Critics point to mismanagement and corruption. The opposition is gaining strength, and there are reports of civil unrest in major cities. This matters globally. Bolivia holds significant lithium reserves crucial for electric vehicle batteries. Economic instability here affects the global green energy transition. Delhi residents woke up to a toxic nightmare. The day after Diwali celebrations, India's capital is choking under hazardous pollution levels that exceed safe limits by more than 400%. The air quality index has hit the hazardous category, forcing school closures and emergency health warnings. Hospitals report a surge in respiratory cases, particularly among children and elderly residents. This is an annual crisis that gets worse each year. Despite firecracker bans and environmental regulations, enforcement remains weak and the tradition continues. The economic cost is staggering. Productivity drops, healthcare costs spike, and Delhi's international reputation as a business hub suffers. Solutions exist, but political will remains limited. Now let's connect these stories because they reveal 3 critical global patterns shaping our world right now. First, democratic institutions under pressure. From France imprisoning a former president to Israel restricting aid groups to Bolivia's economic crisis, we're seeing established systems pushed to breaking points. These aren't isolated events, they're symptoms of broader institutional stress. Second, regional conflicts escalating globally. North Korea's missile launch, Middle East violence, and geopolitical tensions aren't separate stories. They're interconnected pressure points that could trigger larger conflicts. When Trump comments on Putin's canceled summit, it shows how personal relationships still drive international relations. Third, environmental and public health crises demanding immediate action. Delhi's toxic air isn't just India's problem. It's a preview of what urban centers worldwide face as climate change accelerates. The solutions exist, but implementation requires political courage that's often lacking. Here's what this means for you. We're living through a period where local events have global consequences faster than ever before. A missile launch in North Korea affects markets worldwide. Pollution in Delhi impacts global health patterns. Violence in the Middle East influences energy prices everywhere. The key insight: information moves faster than solutions. We can track these crises in real time, but our institutions, whether governmental, international, or corporate, still operate at slower speeds. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember that these global events shape the world your children will inherit. This has been the Daily Signal. I'm Remo. Subscribe for tomorrow's critical updates. Share this with someone who needs to stay informed. And remember, in a world of rapid change, reliable information is your most valuable resource. Until tomorrow, stay signal strong.
Unfiltered.